Today I'm with Ray. Ray, how old are you?
19.
Ray, how long have you been lost in Phoenix?
On and off for the past 3 years.
How old were you when you first tried a substance?
I was about to be 16, a month before my 16th birthday.
And who introduced you to that stuff back then?
One of my weed plugs, which turned into one of my ex-boyfriends.
And 3 years later, here you are?
Yeah.
Do you think that kind of contributed to where you are today?
Yeah, I think it did a lot.
How does your family feel about you being out here?
My family don't like it. You know what I mean? They're very supportive with me, and they want to help, but they know that if they try too hard, it'll just push me away, you know? So they just try to help me in the best way that they can.
Which is how?
Well, my mom, whenever I'm able, my mom she always tries to keep contact with me, you know what I mean? And it's just she's very open with me, she's supportive, but she just understands that right now, because I started off when I was, still a minor, you know what I mean? It was a different situation, you know what I mean? I was a runaway, and, I was pushing away from her. Now that I became an adult, it's there's regrets that I have, when it comes to the fact that, I wish I didn't do that, because now it's more, I've become accustomed to this type of lifestyle, and it's hard to get out of it, But she tries to help me, and she knows she can't control me, but, you know what I mean? She's just very supportive, you know what I mean? She can't do anything other than that, you know what I mean? It's because it's just shown in the past that I pushed myself away from her.
Supportive also means keeping the door open, so when you're ready to get sober, get better, go back home, your mom will have the door open. That's a way of supporting, right? Not totally.
Yes, of course. No. She doesn't. It's not like that. It's just my living situation at home is pretty our house is pretty packed, and there's not much space for me. And it's not that I don't have the door open. It's just it's not what I see comfortable for me right now.
Okay.
And I have other things in my life that I have to take care of. You know what I mean? That's why I'm just haven't been around.
Ray, why do you think so many young people start off with substances, blues? I've seen 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds out here. Why do you think it's so appealing to younger people?
I feel like it is that way because of the fact that there's with the social media and everything, it kind of pushes kids into growing up faster than they needed to be, and it makes them want to, you know what I mean? So I don't know why, but I feel like when I was younger, I thought, you know what I mean, being around drugs or doing stuff like that made me more grown, or looked more grown. I don't know why I wanted that, but sometimes that's just, I guess the outcome of it. It's just social media, I feel like, has a really big effect on making kids want to grow up faster.
I've heard that before. I wanted to be cool. I was 15. I wanted to hang out with 18-year-olds. I was 18. I wanted to hang out with 21-year-olds. I want to go to the club. I wanted to be cool. I just wanted girls to like me. I wanted guys to like me. And this was a way I did it, just accepting the challenge to try substances.
Yeah.
Do you think that's true?
Yeah, I feel like that can be very true. It's a big, I would say, not stigmatism, but there's a big, I don't know what word to call it, but around kids' heads nowadays that, I don't know why they feel like to be accepted, you know what I mean? That's what they have to do, but for some reason our brain starts to think that for some reason, or it just depends on, honestly, the past, the childhood trauma or whatever, you know what I mean? That can make one feel that way.
When you were younger, like a little girl, what did you hope to become as an adult?
When I was younger, I wanted to be a Marine because my grandfather, he was in the Vietnam War, and yeah, he was a Marine as well. So that's one thing I really wanted to be, but it was just a very, I don't know, I wouldn't call it unrealistic, but it was just something I wanted to be when I was younger, and I did kind of strive to become one when I was older, but it's just things changed, you know what I mean? And situations just didn't land the way they wanted to.
It's so funny that I'm asking you, what did you want to become when you're younger and you're 19? It's not like you're 30 or 40, you're still young, basically. You're really young. Do you see that?
Yeah.
But if you've been out here for 3 years, you were telling me earlier that you've grown accustomed to being out here.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you've lived another life. You know, you're like a mature 19 because being out here for so many years, you've seen some things, you've been through some things, right?
Yeah, of course.
And so what does that do when you out here for so long? Does it harden you? Does it make you tougher? Does it show you the realities of life out here, how dark it is?
Of course it does. You know what I mean? And I try not to, cause me personally, I've always been a very, optimistic and upbringing person, you know, but it's hard when you're out here for so long, the way that people treat you, the way that you let yourself be treated, you know what I mean? It's all around just, it shows you all around the negative outweighs the positive, and, you know, I question why I still find myself out here and why it's so hard to, you know, get out of it, but yeah, it can really show you, and it can really open your eyes in positive and negative ways, because the stuff out here that happens can be very traumatizing. You know what I mean? Real life situations, you know what I mean? It'll show you how, the streets will show you how real life can get within seconds, and it's scary sometimes. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to violence out here.
You've been fortunate to make it this long because I've interviewed people and, you know, weeks later, days later, a year later, they're gone.
Yeah, you interviewed one of my exes, and he had passed away. Yeah, that's like your video is like the only video I have left of him.
My condolences.
Yeah, it's been about like 1 year now. August.
OD
No, he was killed.
out here on the streets.
Yeah. So,
Do you ever think about that it could be you next, being out here in the streets, the violence, an OD?
yeah, I mean, I honestly, I don't like to think about it, and I wouldn't say I do, because I'm not gonna lie about it. I wouldn't want to think about that, but it's not anything far from true. You know what I mean? It could be, and that's what I got to think about, especially when it comes to my family, because that's one thing I really don't try to put in my head a lot, because it doesn't feel good, but it's reality, you know?
Do you have siblings?
Yes, I have 3 brothers.
Are they younger than you?
One younger and 2 older.
What if your younger brother started coming out here?
Yeah, no. I would lose my mind. I would not be able to, I would not, no. I don't know, I wouldn't know how to be able to cope with it.
How do you think your family copes with you being out here?
Honestly, I don't know. I know it does take a really big toll on my mom. It's just like, I don't know, and I feel really, really regretful saying that, you know what I mean? Because acknowledging it does suck. And if I don't want to seem like I'm being inconsiderate or anything of that, you know? It's just, I don't know. I know it does affect them really bad though. And our relationship gets strained.
How often do you talk to your mom or to your family?
I try to talk to my mom as often as I can. You know what I mean? There's some days, sometimes it's either like every day I pop up over there. And some days I don't know why, but I just end up staying away for longer for a couple of weeks at a time. Right now, last time I talked to her was maybe like 3 days ago. But I try to keep in contact with her as often as I can.
What message do you have for your mom, for your siblings, for your family? What do you want to tell them?
That I appreciate them, and that I apologize for the time that has been taken, but to, you know, keep keep the hope, keep the hope and the strength and the loyalty that our family has for each other, you know what I mean? Because it's very easy to lose that within just not being around, or whatever, relationships can get strained. And so, even though I've messed up and I've brought broken trust, you know what I mean? I hope that they don't give up on me. You know what I mean? And I know that they won't, but I mean that genuinely, from like in my heart. Like, I mean, I apologize, and you know, I would like to say that I'm trying, but I don't want to paint no lies in nobody's head. You know what I mean? I just want to ask for a little bit of forgiveness for all the time that I did waste so far, and hopefully a little more support so I could have, maybe get out of it. I don't know, but yeah.
Can you picture yourself out of here, sober, living a normal life back home?
Of course, I would love that. I would love that. That's one thing that, even though, even though during active addiction, like it seems like people don't think about that. I think about that a lot. I think about that so much because, you know, when they say that saying of sick and tired of being sick and tired, it's so true. It's like, and I don't know why I endure so much of it, you know, but there is that turning point of when you're tired of doing this same stuff every day, you know, because like you said, the negative effect of the streets out here can carry a lot of weight on you. So yeah, I can see myself. I would love to see myself like that. You know what I mean? I would love, because of my age and where I'm at in life, I would love to see myself doing what I know I should be doing and I can do, but I just got to push a little more effort to it.
My last question, Ray. What advice would you give to a 15-year-old Ray, a 15-year-old little girl that's at home, lost, confused, peer pressure, boyfriend, she wants to act older, somebody offers her stuff, or she's curious about coming out here? What would you advise her?
Um, you know, I would let her know that, you know, the consequences are very real, and that um, you know, how do I say it? Like, you know, just don't lose hope in the ones around you. You know what I mean? Don't lose hope in your family or whoever you have to support you, even though there may be times where you feel like you're all alone. You're not, you know, and don't ever confine in this type of coping mechanism, because it's not going to do anything for you other than deteriorate you over time. And, you know, and how I see it as self-inflicted pain, you should never complain about, you know what I mean? So you got to really watch what you do to yourself.
Ray, just talking to you for the past 10 minutes, you're very intelligent, very mature. You deserve better. You know where you're at. You're not making excuses. You know what you need to do to get out of here. I really hope and pray that very soon you'll make that decision to get out of here, okay?
Right.
With the support of your family, your mom. I'm going to give you my card with my number on it so you can call me if you ever need to write a treatment or somebody to talk to. Ray, thank you for sharing your story, because your story is going to save one person out there. Now you need to work on saving yours, okay?
Okay.
So, Ray, stay safe. God bless. Go get you some food.
All
We'll
right.
talk soon, okay?
Okay.